The rapid population expansion in Coos Bay has pushed the city's infrastructure to its limits. In this one, we're going to plan and execute a divided highway and new bus infrastructure for all the commies out there. If you enjoy the build, be sure to like, subscribe, and check out my other videos. Let's get started. So to start, what I want to do is I'm going to mark on both sides of the city the areas where we're not going to replace the highway today. On the farmland side of the city, anywhere past this bridge we're not going to replace, and on the other side of the city, once we're completely outside, we're not going to replace any of it. So I'm going to mark those with a red marker. So now from here, I'm going to mark all of the areas that we are going to replace with a blue marker. So that's going to be from the end of this bridge over by the farmland all the way into our downtown area. So we're going to leave some at-grade crossings in the farmland area, but we're going to make them a little bit more sophisticated, just so that way they're a little bit safer. We're also going to run this right through where our 4-lane highway goes right now. We're just going to make sure it's divided instead of being a connected highway like that. So now I'm going to mark out the future development areas for this highway with a purple marker, and we're going to run that in a tunnel directly underneath the new development that we created last episode, so that way we have an actual way around the city so that all of our highway traffic doesn't have to go in. Like I said, this will be in a later episode. Doesn't make any sense to do that right now at our current size, but just thinking forward to the future. It'll also open up development up along this river. So we're going to mark the interchanges with a yellow circle here. We're going to have one in our industrial area. We already have it there. It's just going to be a matter of hooking it up. And then we're also going to have a key intersection out in the farmland area, but it's not going to be a traditional interchange. It's going to be a little bit different. Now I want to mark out our bus transit system. So first we're going to have our main station right across the street from the train station in the downtown area. I'm going to mark that with this black circle. I'm going to mark out our first primary route in red. This is going to serve the left side, at least in this image, of the downtown area, and I wanted to have stops near the high school and down by the train station, along with some in these neighborhoods, just to make sure that we have enough service. So now our second loop is going to run parallel to this red loop for a little while, and then it'll branch off and serve the remainder of the town. So now we're going to use a yellow marker to mark out the path that our industrial route is going to take. This is going to start at the station. It'll come up onto the highway that is yet to be built. It'll come down into Coos yards, and then it'll come down by the switch-on factory with stops along the way so that people can get to work without driving. So the last route that I'm going to draw here is going to be our route going out of town. It's going to come up through the downtown area, up onto the highway, into Coos Orchard, and then it'll run its way out of town. Lastly, we need to plan where we're going to put our depot. We're going to put it right where this garbage dump is right now. To begin this development, we're going to go ahead and draw in the 4-lane divided highway, but we're going to do it without severing connection. So now we're going to go ahead and sever connectivity and get everything hooked back up as quickly as possible. So the next step in this piecewise development is we're going to go ahead and sever the connectivity between the industrial area and downtown. This is going to give us, Goodness, these trees grew right up in. That's surely not a hazard. But I want to make sure that everything stays connected, and the downtown area and the industrial area already have another connection, so we can go ahead and sever this without making it so people can't get to work. Now that we've drawn in some of the highway, we can go ahead and sever the rest. Surely this won't be a pain. Surely. Now I'm going to begin preparing for the rural area by backing up all of the farms and the forestry industry area. Now I'm going to go ahead and sever the connection between the rural area and the highway we've developed so that we can go ahead and get that connected. Geez, this is incredibly unsafe. I kind of want to just leave it though. I mean, what are you doing going all the way out into the middle of the highway? Jesus. While I was looking around, I noticed that I never reconnected the landfill, so I'm going to do that. So now what I want to do is I want to bring the farm and the forestry area hub buildings. I want to bring their areas back right up to the highway, and I'll add some shrubbery, probably not any real large trees on the edge of the highway, but definitely some shrubs, some bushes. We may have had a little bit of a crash, but it's okay. Now I'm back to caught up. At my girlfriend's insistence, I decided to remove all the at-grade crossings here, so now we can move on to the bus depot. The first step in placing this depot is emptying this landfill. I hadn't actually used the start emptying feature in the past, which was a mistake. This could have been done forever ago, but we're going to go ahead and use it now. Unfortunately, I can't really relocate all of our garbage to this landfill because it's almost completely full. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to buy up a tile here, and I am going to expand the landfill area and add some extra processing buildings. While this isn't part of the main build, I do want to redevelop that area, so I'm going to make some space and we'll come back to revisit this at a later date. Now that we're done building this complex, I want to see what our processing capacity is at. And, just by looking at it, yeah, we're not in great shape. But hopefully that'll help tide us over at least until we can get a better processing asset down. For the time being, actually, I'm going to add one more of these buildings, just so that way we have plenty of processing capacity in the hopes that it'll stave off the inevitable landfill filling. I'm going to keep waiting for this to empty out. We actually just watched the stored garbage decrease significantly, so hopefully it continues to decrease. Editor Baldy here. I noticed that I changed the map texture to the Volcaria map texture theme, and I never actually said anything in the video, so I made that change real quick. Excellent. At long last, we are free of this early mistake in the city's development. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to finally bulldoze that. I'm going to get rid of this parking lot and this business too. And we're going to back everything out completely. A lot of people walking along the rail here. What the hell are they doing? I guess he's going to the train station so that he can leave town? I don't know. That doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Well, now that we've solved that mystery, I want to start developing here. I really don't want to have any at-grade crossings here because this is going to be pretty critical to our public transit system, so we're going to spend the extra money to invest in an interchange. So for that interchange, I'm going to try and run a road underneath Manor and Castle Hill Highway here. And that will give us enough space that we can hopefully do a full trumpet interchange and not have any at-grade crossings. now that we have the initial road layout set up, what I want to do is I want to place our bus depot. So we're just going to use the vanilla one. I really like it, actually. So we're going to go ahead and place it here. Perfect. Now, what you're going to notice is that I'm going to leave this area back here pretty empty. I may add some parking, but I'm not going to add any additional industrial buildings. I want this area to be expandable. I want to be able to actually take advantage of these extra car garages, or extra bus garages. And we've got just enough space here that we could add some more behind it in the future if we wanted to. So I'm going to go ahead, run a road behind, and we'll add some parking back here. I'm also going to splice together some industrial buildings up here. And before I forget, let's go ahead and run an underground electricity line down there, just so that way we have it. And let's get water and sewage as well. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and I'll fill those in quickly. So I'm just going to add a small amount of detailing in this area. I'll add some trees blocking the view from downtown of the factories. Okay, no smokestacks in this development, but I'm going to put down some trees blocking this view here, some trees blocking the view from the highway, and I'll add some bushes and flowers and stuff near the off-ramps. I'm sure I've left a nightmare for me to edit here while I was fidgeting with this, but I wanted to make sure that this was turned this way so we could remove Bayview Street and we could eventually get this highway up over the top heading down this way. Now, unfortunately, I'm not really sure how I'm going to reconnect up to here coming back from this way, but we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I'm sure it'll be a massive pain in the ass. So the first thing we need to do before we start laying out our bus routes is we need to go ahead and dezone some of these houses and clear some space for our bus station. Now, I'm sure this project would be rather expensive and unpopular since we're bulldozing properties and houses, but we've got some extra space around here that we can redevelop with some higher density that would probably make the project a little bit more financially viable. So now we need to go ahead and pick out our bus station asset. I think that the small bus station is the only one that fits. It's also the only one we can afford. Yep, sure enough, we have to go with the small bus station. So I'm going to go ahead and plop that, and we're going to add on some of the add-ons. That way it looks like a bigger asset. Right away, we're going to add on those extra platforms, and we're also going to add the station services to make the place a little bit more comfortable. Yeah, I like the way that they fit a little bit more up front. We still can't get the taxi stop because I have refused to place a taxi depot yet. So we'll go ahead and place those. We're out of money. Alright, well, back to old reliable. Let's go ahead and take out another loan. That should be enough. We only need $50,000, and that should give us everything we need to finish out this asset. I'm also going to remove some of these trees here. This is the consequence of building with anarchy. You can see because I have limited tree anarchy on, it's also very difficult to find the trees. So I've decided that I hate the way that I laid out these routes. The one, especially in the downtown area over here, is way too short for these routes. It doesn't make sense to have routes bring people 5 blocks. It's just not useful. So I'm going to go through it. I'm going to redo those, give them another chance, and hopefully I'll get something that's a little bit more realistic. I am pleased with how this turned out, though, so I'm not going to be making adjustments to this. But I'm going to clear all the routes and kind of start from scratch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to try and lay out these routes a little bit better. I'm going to combine the routes that I had in this downtown area, and then I'll have a route going out to the industrial area, and I'll have one route going out of town through Coos Orchard and Archer Fields. I had kind of planned it out that way. I just had 2 routes down here, and I really don't want to have 2 routes for such a small geographic area. Eventually, I'm sure we'll have to adjust these things. I'm going to use bus shelters in the hopes that people will use the buses more if I use them. So I'll go ahead and get started placing. that feels much more reasonable to me. In reality, there are very few people that are more than 3 blocks away from a bus stop. Really, this is about funneling people into the station so that then we can get them to the industrial area and out of town if they want. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to create a route into the industrial area. This is probably going to be a line as opposed to a loop. So what I'm going to do is I would like to reuse more than just the station for stops, but in reality that doesn't really fit into these routes. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take from the small bus station down, let's see, this is Brightwater Street, right? Where's the name? I'm going to take it down this avenue. I will have some stops near the Switch On Industrial Park, and then I'll have some stops up by Coos Yards so that anybody who works up here can easily get to work. Then I'll bring it back up onto the highway. See, I'm going to end up making a loop. But, no, you know what? I'm not going to bring it up onto the highway. This is an auto-centric area. I'm going to bring it back down through the Switch On Industrial area. Now, the last route that I really want to establish, actually, I'm going to do 2 routes out of town because we have this direction out here where we really don't have any transit, and we have this direction out here where we don't have any transit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add a couple of bus stop shelters, actually 1 bus stop shelter. I can't add a shelter out on this road, so it'll just have to be a bus stop sign out by Coos Orchard so people can get picked up out by the orchard. And what I will do is I will go ahead and establish our last couple lines. I'm going to try and have them have some functionality. This particular route won't have any additional functionality. Actually, I'm going to make it a direct route out to the Switch On Industrial area. And then I'll have it come out to Coos Orchard. And out of town. And then back to Coos Orchard. Back through the Switch On Industrial area. And right there. And then the last bus route that I want. Oh, it's not letting me complete. Okay, there we go. Now I completed the route. So my last route, I'm going to have start here. I'm going to have it stop at these stops out here. And then I'm going to have it come out of town in this direction. Hopefully that will relieve some of the traffic pressure coming into and out of town on a relatively daily basis. And we will finish the route. Perfect. Okay. So now I want to go into our transit menu and I want to name these routes. So let's start with the bus line coming out to Coos Yards. There's only 1 line coming out to Coos Yards. That should be completely free. And I'm going to name it Coos Area Transit Network, or CATN, yellow line. And I'm just copying the colors of the zoning. We'll keep an eye on that. We may need to increase the capacity there, but for now that should be fine. Then for this line, I'm going to make all of our buses free. I'm going to make this one the CATN Green Loop CCW. Oh, wait. This is the counterclockwise route. Awesome. We're already seeing use. It's great. And I'm going to go ahead and make that green. Okay. I can get this one, and then CATN. Excellent, and we'll make this one free as well. And it looks like we're seeing use from all of them. That's much better than what I was expecting. And we'll go ahead and make it green as well. Cool. Let's see, how close are those colors? Close enough that I can't tell the difference. Okay. Now, we need to have this route out of town, and I haven't actually named this, but let's see. So this would be to the south. So I am going to rename this to San Francisco. Awesome. Now we can come back to this line. Coos. San Francisco. Okay, and I am going to make this one cost money. I want the trains to be free. I don't want the buses to be free. Apparently, I'm also out of vehicles, so we're going to have to expand. Or, actually, why are there 14 vehicles on that line? I don't need 14 on that line. That's incredible. Okay, and we'll make this one a dark blue. Okay, let's see. How many vehicles do each of these lines have? This one has 5. That's fine. This one has 3. This one has 4. We can reduce that to 3. Okay. And then, let's see, the last line is this one right here, which I'm sure has too many. Yep, perfect. Okay. I think we might have enough vehicles now. And this one is going north, right? I guess not really. It's more going west. Or east. My God, I'm so used to being on the East Coast. So, let's see. I'm going to say that this one is heading to Eugene. So, goes to Eugene. Yeah. Okay. So now, hopefully, we still don't have enough vehicles. How many? Let's see. Right now, our lines in total have 16, 17 buses. How many does this thing have? 25? It should be fine. Yeah, I guess there's still capacity here, so hopefully they'll get going. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, if we need to increase our capacity, we can always start removing this parking lot, but for the time being, I think we're going to leave it. Okay, so now the last thing that I want to do in this episode is I want to have construction sites here for this highway going around. Obviously, we really have not solved the overwhelming traffic problem at this intersection, but we've kind of built the framework for how we will eventually solve that problem. So I want to have a construction site here demonstrating the highway coming up over here. And then I also want to have a construction project here demonstrating how the highway is eventually going to extend up the coast, well, up the river bank here and out of town. as you can see, I've done absolutely nothing to solve traffic here, but I have set us up for some further expansion out this way and also to kind of help us reduce the traffic through this area. If you stuck with me this long, I'd really appreciate a like and a subscribe. Any interaction with the video really goes a long way in helping push it in the algorithm. I am going to film some outro visuals, so I realized that there's a way that we can actually turn this into a functional worksite. So I'm going to go ahead and upgrade the road to a version of the 2-lane highway that has water power underneath and that also has zoning on it. And then I'm going to connect up utilities. So now I'm going to go ahead and place down these 1x2 industrial zone blocks inside of these props that I placed that are large enough. I placed 2 of them. Oh, it did place the first one. Excellent. So we can remove the second one. And now this should actually be a functional worksite. We should actually have employees here. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and make enough space for net lanes to run up through here, and we'll have 2 different net lanes that merge together to provide some actual road connectivity to the area. So now I want to add in a couple more of these employers, so I'm going to try and find some spots for these longer industrial blocks. So now I'm going to go ahead and create a district for this one as well, and then I'll do the exact same thing that I did before where I go ahead and connect up utilities, modify the road, add in some net lanes, and then add in some additional jobs here. So now that I have some spaces for the employees to park, I'm going to put down some of the invisible parking. So now I didn't like how hard it was to find those invisible parking spots, so I'm just going to go ahead and use the visible ones, and then I'll use some decals to cover it up like I was doing before. So now I'm going to go ahead and just remove the parking on these roads, and then we are finally going to call this one an episode. I know I kind of lied earlier, but if you stuck with me this long again, I really appreciate it. Make sure you like and subscribe. I really had a lot of fun with this one. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.